so today we're going to be talking about some random tiling tips and techniques. Now, why do you want to watch this video? You want to watch the video if you're going to be redoing your bathroom and putting tile on the shower surround, or you're going to be putting tile on the floor, even in the kitchen. If you're going to be tiling the kitchen, we're going to give you tips on the type of tile to use on walls and floors. What kind of thin set to use for large format tiles so they don't slide down the wall. What kind of tools will help you out, and so much more. So is this a comprehensive video? It is not. Is it a video that'll make you smarter when it comes to tiling? I sure hope so, because these are tips that I've learned over the last 12 years remodeling my own rental properties here in Pittsburgh, and tips that I've learned from my buddy Steve White, who is a professional master bathroom remodeler. So hang on, we're gonna give you some awesome ideas here. Let's jump into the video right now. The first tip that I wanted to give you has to do with tubs and showers. Now, my personal preference is to have large format tile. So these tiles right here are 12 by 36. They're pretty large. And by the way, anything that has a longer than an 18-inch edge to it is considered a large format tile and needs special thin set such that it won't slide down the wall whenever you go to adhere it. Why do I like large format tiles? They're way easier to clean, especially if you get large format tiles that have a glossy surface to them. You just squeegee them down, you're good to go. You may disagree with me on this, and I totally get it, that it's an aesthetic thing and maybe you like subway tiles, so go for it. If you like subway tiles, go for it. But in my experience, if you hate cleaning up the bathroom, large format tiles are the way to go. What about floors? What's a good tile for the floor? Especially in the bathroom. My personal preference for floor tiles in bathrooms are tiles that have a little bit of grip to them. That way when you step out of the shower or the bathtub, you're not gonna slip and fall in your rear end. And that's what these tiles have. There's a certain grip to it. And I totally get, you may not like this because you could make the argument that you'd have to clean them a little bit more. And that is totally true. But I think it's not a bad idea to have grippiness to the tile so you don't slip and fall. After all, the bathroom is going to be wet. Same thing goes for the kitchen or a mudroom. So just keep that in mind when you're choosing your tile. Another nice solid tip is whenever you're tiling in the bathtub or the shower, make sure you tile the whole way up to the ceiling. Now, why do you want to do that? You want to do that because it actually, again, this is just my opinion, it's more work to leave that little section of drywall going around the top of the tub or the shower. Plus, drywall isn't waterproof, and even if you put a latex layer of paint over top of it, it will still bubble up over time, especially if you're taller and all the water splashes off of you and goes onto the drywall. So spend the extra 50, 100, 150 bucks to buy the tile for the top here, for the top section of your tub or your shower. Now I'm gonna give you a way to save some money on your tile. Hold on one second here, I wanna show you something. So this tile here has a profile, a metal profile. Looks just like this before you put it behind the tile. And this is made by Schluter. Schluter makes a ton of profiles like this one in many different colors, and it's way more cost effective to use this than pencil trim tile or bullnose tile. So keep this in mind when you want to do a tile on your shower or your bathtub. Now I want to give you some accent tile tips. It's always good to choose an accent tile that is the exact same thickness as the surrounding tile. So by that I mean this tile, as you can see here, is about a 1/4 inch thick. This tile is a 1/4 inch thick. When you go to put both tiles on your waterproofing membrane or waterproofing board, that way they'll be exactly the same thickness, they'll be nice and flush, this won't be sticking out. Now, if this tile is thinner than the surrounding tile, what you do is put a piece of Schluter Dieter behind it, because the Dieter is only about an 1/8 inch thick. So you put this behind the accent tile and that will pull the accent tile out to make it flush with the surrounding tiles. So I'm going to give you 3 tips that'll get you great looking grout joints. Tip number 1 is to use a high quality thin set mortar for vertical tile, especially if your vertical tile is a large format tile. Which thin sets do we like? We like Ardex X77, especially for large format tiles, because it prevents your large tiles from sliding down the wall and squishing your tile mosaic. We also like Mapei's Carabond because it's a great tile, it's a great thin set for your tile floor. And these thin sets combined with horseshoe shims and the Tuscan seam clips will help you get amazing looking grout joints. You want to use horseshoe shims in between your tile mosaics. You position them in between the tile mosaic grout joints to prevent those tiny little grout joints from being smushed. You can also use these in between tiles. The Tuscan seam clips are used to prevent tile lippage. This is really important both on vertical surfaces and on horizontal surfaces. So check them out for yourself. These are 1/16 inch horseshoe shims. You can combine 2 of them to give yourself an 1/8 inch grout joint, which is the size of grout joint I like because it's small enough that it's not too noticeable, but not too big that it looks weird and it'll accumulate dust, or not dust, but like grime and dirt and all that jazz. So the smaller the grout joint, in my opinion, the better off you are. Tuscan seam clips, make sure you choose these based upon the thickness of your tile. I'll put a link down in the description so you can check it out for yourself. Or you can take a look at this video right here, which I made on the Tuscan seam clips and the Tuscan system in general. I almost forgot, you can use the Tuscan seam clips both on vertical tile surfaces and horizontal surfaces like floors. Do the exact same thing with the horseshoe shims. This next tip is about the layout of large format tiles, specifically elongated tiles. These 12 by 36 inch tiles, we staggered them in thirds, and the reason why, if you don't do that, you'll get tile lippage, and that's not good. You want to do the exact same thing when it comes to 12 by 24 tiles or tiles that are elongated on the floor. You want to stagger them by thirds so that, again, you don't get tile lippage and stub your toe on the tile. So what about grouts? What are some of the grouts that could make your life a lot easier? Well, one of them is called quartz lock. This is by Bostik. And what's great about it is it's a urethane based grout. It's already pre-mixed, so you don't have to mix it. It's got wonderful color consistency, and it's gonna last for a year or 2 in your garage. So if you ever have a problem, you can always just fill it in with this. That's the other nice thing. When you use Bostik's quartz lock, if you miss a spot, you can just take some and fill it in and wipe it off. Now you have to work quick with a urethane based grout, but not only is the color consistency there, it is stain resistant, you don't have to seal it, and you don't have to mix it up. So that's pretty awesome. Another type of grout that you should check out is by Ardex. Ardex, spelled A-R-D-E-X, they make great sanded and unsanded grouts, or non-sanded grouts. So check out the Ardex line of grouts. This is what professionals like to use, or some professionals, I'm not gonna speak for everybody. But again, you can check out Ardex and you can check out Bostik's, spelled B-O-S-T-I-K, grout line and see which one will fit your needs. You always wanna use silicone sealant, if you can, in the corners of your shower or bathtub. The reason why is this corner is subjected to expansion and contraction. So if you're not using silicone and you use grout, the grout will eventually pop and crack over time, which isn't good. So in the corners, use silicone. And also, when it comes to bathtubs, it's good to put silicone, 100% silicone, between the tub and the bottom of the first tile. Alright, so those are the tips and techniques on tiling for today. I totally get that this is not comprehensive. It's more basic to get your brain kind of churning and get you some ideas that'll help you out with your own tiling project. If you're planning your own DIY bathroom remodel, you should check out bathroomrepairtutor.com, especially if you're looking to tile a floor, a shower surround, put in a tub, and do the plumbing and so much more. We'll help you out with that. Just visit bathroomrepairtutor.com. That is it for today. I'll see you down in the comments. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have. Take care. We'll talk to you soon. Man, we don't get too many days like this in Pittsburgh. It is phenomenal. I figured I'd show you what it's like. It's March. It's almost 70 degrees outside. Top notch.